What if we told you that Africa may have just dodged a geopolitical bullet? Literally, by doing something most countries wouldn't dare. Across the continent, a quiet revolution has been unfolding. From Mali to Niger to Burkina Faso, African nations are shutting down US and European military bases, sending foreign troops packing, and reclaiming their sovereignty. But what no one expected was how this bold move could end up saving the continent from becoming collateral damage in one of the most explosive conflicts of our time. While missiles rained down on US bases in the Middle East, in Iran, in Qatar, and in areas caught in the crossfire between Iran, Israel, and the West, Africa remained untouched. Coincidence? Maybe not. As the rest of the world braces for the fallout of decades-long rivalries, Africa's choice to reject foreign military presence might just be its shield. In this video, we'll explore how Africa's push for independence is not just symbolic. It may have physically protected millions from a global storm. Let's break it down. In recent years, a wave of African countries has made the bold decision to expel foreign military forces, particularly troops from the United States and European nations, marking a dramatic shift in the continent's stance on foreign intervention. Countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have taken decisive steps to remove French and American military personnel from their soil, signaling a growing discontent with external control and a renewed desire to assert national sovereignty. These moves are not isolated incidents. They represent a broader regional realignment, where African nations are increasingly rejecting what many view as a neocolonial military presence. The reasons behind these expulsions are deeply rooted in history, politics, and growing public frustration. For decades, foreign troops were stationed in Africa under the pretext of combating terrorism, maintaining stability, or assisting in military training. However, the outcomes have often been disappointing. In the Sahel region, despite years of military collaboration with France and the US, insurgent attacks have continued to spread, causing many Africans to question the effectiveness and true intent of foreign involvement. In many cases, instead of peace, these interventions brought instability, resentment, and the undermining of local authority. This has led to the perception that these foreign forces are more interested in protecting their own strategic interests, such as access to natural resources or geopolitical influence, than genuinely helping African nations secure long-term peace. In Mali, the transitional government terminated its military cooperation with France in 2022, accusing Paris of interfering in internal affairs and failing to deliver results in the fight against jihadist groups. Burkina Faso followed suit, with its government demanding the departure of French troops in early 2023 after public protests and political pressure from nationalist movements. Niger, too, under new leadership following a coup, announced the end of military partnerships with France and later the United States, calling the presence of foreign soldiers a violation of its sovereignty. In each case, these decisions were supported, or even demanded, by large segments of the population who viewed foreign troops as symbols of colonial dependency rather than partners in progress. Underlying this trend is a powerful desire for self-determination. Many African leaders and citizens believe that lasting security can only be achieved through African-led solutions. They argue that relying on foreign powers not only weakens national institutions, but also prevents the development of a truly independent defense and governance framework. As a result, several countries have begun to strengthen regional alliances, such as the newly formed alliance of Sahel states between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, aiming to coordinate defense and development strategies without Western oversight. This growing emphasis on Pan-African unity and autonomy reflects a continent that is increasingly confident in its ability to manage its own destiny, militarily, politically, and economically. In recent months, US military bases in the Middle East, specifically in Iraq and Qatar, have come under increasing attack from Iranian-backed forces using missiles and drones. These retaliatory strikes have been part of an escalating shadow war between Iran and the United States, intensified by the US' continued military presence in the region and its staunch alliance with Israel. Following a series of deadly Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and Syria, many of which were backed logistically or militarily by the US, Iran vowed vengeance, and its regional allies wasted no time in acting on that promise. In January and February 2024, American bases in Iraq, such as Al-Assad Air Base and the Green Village, were repeatedly targeted by drones and rocket fire. Meanwhile, US installations in Qatar, including the Al Udeid Air Base, the largest American military facility in the Middle East, also faced threats, with some reports indicating attempted drone incursions. These attacks were direct consequences of the heightened tensions stemming from the US-Iran-Israel triangle. Iran has long seen the US military presence in the region as a threat to its sovereignty and a support pillar for Israeli military dominance. After the assassination of key Iranian and allied commanders over the past few years, and continued US involvement in Middle Eastern conflicts, Iran and its allied militias began targeting American troops, not only to retaliate, but also to pressure Washington to withdraw from the region. The result has been a dangerous spike in hostilities, with US bases in the Middle East becoming high-risk targets, frequently hit, often under threat, and increasingly surrounded by hostility. But amid this escalation, one region has remained remarkably untouched: Africa. And this isn't by chance. Over the past 2 years, a growing number of African countries have expelled US and European troops and shut down foreign military bases. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and others have taken bold steps to reclaim control over their national territories, ousting French and American forces who had operated under the banner of counterterrorism for over a decade. This decision, originally driven by frustrations over ineffective military cooperation and the desire for self-determination, now appears strikingly prescient. By removing foreign troops, these countries also remove themselves from the geopolitical chessboard of US-Iran hostilities, and in doing so, escape the line of fire. Had American military outposts still been active across Africa's Sahel region, there is a strong likelihood they could have become soft targets in Iran's retaliation strategy. US bases are seen not just as defense hubs, but as extensions of American foreign policy, making them symbolic and strategic targets in any major conflict. With Iran looking to hit US interests wherever they may lie, Africa's decision to cut military ties with the West may have inadvertently shielded the continent from becoming collateral damage in a much larger war. While missiles were striking bases in Iraq and drones were circling above Qatar, Africa's skies remained calm, free of the consequences that foreign entanglements so often invite. This turn of events has strengthened the argument made by many Pan-African thinkers and leaders that foreign military presence on the continent carries more risk than reward. It's not just about sovereignty or national pride anymore. It's also about security in a world increasingly shaped by unpredictable, long-range warfare. Africa's rejection of foreign military installations could very well become a model for other regions seeking to insulate themselves from global conflicts. In hindsight, Africa didn't just make a political statement by sending Western troops home. It may have saved itself from war.